This type of practice, which is called sentence equivalency, you have to read the instructions very carefully. I'm telling you in advance, they're going to use trick language on you to try to get you to miss some questions that you would deserve to get right, precisely because you didn't follow the directions to the letter, to the exact wording. So since you know they're going to try to do that to you, you should be prepared. You should know in advance, I'm looking for them to use trick language. And unless something is explicitly stated, I'm not going to assume anything. So this type of exercise here, you're asked to pick 2 words from that list that, when you use them in the same sentence, they would produce a sentence that has a very similar, if not identical, meaning. It's important to note that you have to have a little bit of flexibility there. It doesn't say they will mean exactly the same thing. It says that they are alike in meaning. And so we're going to pick 2 answers. Now, they would love to have you go, okay, A, is it B, is it C? And again, that would be very easy to get one right answer, but it would be very easy to get the other answer wrong. Because a lot of these words could logically seem like pairs if you help them along a lot. If you say, well, I guess I could see that if you, and at that point you're doing far too much work to help it. If it's not much more obvious than that, then it's not a good fit. And so, since the 2 words need to produce a sentences that are alike in meaning, then it stands to reason the 2 words themselves should be very alike in meaning. So let's just skip the first step and go straight to the second step. Let's pick words that are alike in meaning. Now, if you were here last week when we discussed the word roots, again, what are the roots of orthodox? Anybody in the chat box? Luigi broke it down into ortho and dox. That's great, Luigi. Do you want to delve any further into ortho and dox? In this case, orthodox, meaning straight or correct or true, and dox, meaning law. And if we know that, that's very compatible with conventional. Notice they don't mean precisely the same thing, but in context, yes. These were the orthodox teachings of society, the straight or correct or true law, and conventional. And from the Latin con, together or with, and vent, blowing or flowing. Blowing in the same direction, flowing in the same direction. Those go together. Now, eccentric, you can see how it would be easy to pair that with original or with innovative, but original and innovative, and we have the Latin root nova, meaning new, those are a much better fit. And then we simply realize that the other 2 words will not be an option, because we know that. I'm telling you that as the out of the 6 words, you'll have 2 choices of 2 that go together, and 2 words that will just be eliminated. So now, out of each of those 2 pairs, take the one word that you're most familiar with, most comfortable with, in this case probably conventional, and from the second pair, let's say original, and start with, well, let's say original. Plug that into the sentence. Does that make sense to you? And in this case, it does, because what we're looking for is, you know, these signal words just mean everything. Although, and so if this is your first session with these types of questions, these signal words are incredibly, they're more than predictive, they're determinative. They dictate what the answer must be. And so, although it means, in contrast to containing some pioneering ideas, and especially if English is not your first language, it's important that you become familiar with this signal word hardly. Hardly means you could scarcely, you could not very likely do this. You would almost certainly not do this. So we want something that is not going to be called, and in this case, original and innovative, which are positive words, both fit this. Because you could not call it innovative or original. That's hardly. Again, if English is not your first language. Those fit perfectly. Let's just double check and let's try orthodox or conventional. Well, orthodox and conventional are in contrast to having some pioneering ideas. And we need an answer here that is not in contrast to having pioneering ideas. So orthodox and conventional are the wrong sense in the terms of positive or negative. We need something that is consistent with having pioneering ideas. So that's original and innovative. And the great thing about this is when you get the right answer, you automatically get both answers right. Whereas it might have been very easy otherwise to get one answer right, but one answer close but not quite.